Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News and welcome to the post match live analysis. My name is Mo, and today we're going to be analyzing the Barcelona match against Olympiacos in the Champions League 6-1 with a hat trick from the Ferminator, Fermin Lopez, who had a magical night today at the Olympic Stadium. A double by Marcus Rashford and a goal by Lamine Yamal. Now, very important result for two reasons. Because number one, it was very important to get a victory in the Champions League. We had already lost against PSG, so we could not lose and drop more points. So this is now two victories in the Champions League against Newcastle and against Olympiacos. So 6 points for Barcelona. And of course, we do have that single loss against PSG. And the second reason why this is a very important victory, because it also affects La Liga, right? Not the actual table of La Liga, but of course, as we know, we do have the El Clásico match coming up on Sunday against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, and it was very important to get a victory like this in the Champions League to lift the spirits of the players or the team as a whole, and hopefully can motivate them to play well against Real Madrid. So very important victory, very important result. An absolute thrashing by Barcelona in the Champions League. But I must say, I don't know exactly how I feel about this match. It was a little bit of a weird match because during the first half, Barcelona did not play well. And we're going to talk about it. So I'm not sure if this result was really something that Barcelona would have obtained either way, or was this result, the 6-1, a direct consequence of the red card that was shown to the Olympiacos player, which, by the way, should not have been a red card. We're going to talk about that as well. Now, as always, I would like to start with the lineup. Then I'm going to talk about general sensation about the team, and then we'll talk about individual players. But this is the lineup that Hansi Flick chose for tonight for the Champions League match against Olympiacos. Of course, on goal, Wojciech Szczesny in the place of the injured Juan Garcia, who, man, every match I miss more and more. We need Juan Garcia back as soon as possible. Jules Koundé on the right, Alejandro Balde on the left. Our center back pairing, Pau Garcia and Eric Garcia. In a double pivot, Pedri and Marc Casado. It looks like Hansi Flick was resting Frankie de Jong for El Clásico match. In the attacking midfield, Fermin Lopez surrounded by Dro. Dro getting another start. He had gotten his debut in La Liga, starting in La Liga, and now he gets his first start in the Champions League. On the other side, of course, Lamine Yamal, and up front, Marcus Rashford as our center forward. Now, let's talk about general sensations of the team, because I did not like what I saw again. I did not like what I saw. Now, this was a little bit of a continuation of what we've been seeing from Barcelona against PSG, against Sevilla, against Girona. Today was a little bit better, but still nowhere to where we need to be. Now, this time, it was not the intensity, right? Previous matches, the problem was the intensity. Players were not playing with intensity on and off the ball. When they had the ball, there was lack of intensity where players were not really getting open, weren't making runs. So as a result, we had a very sluggish circulation of the ball. When they didn't have the ball, they lacked the intensity in pressing and recovering the ball. Today, it was a different factor why Barcelona were not playing well during the first half, and it has to do with the sharpness of the players, with the accuracy of their passes, because Barcelona were consistently losing the ball in situations where they shouldn't have been losing the ball. There was a lot of passes that were horribly made without any pressure on the Barcelona player making them. We saw Alejandro Balde right when the match began. Terrible pass that almost resulted in Olympiacos' goal. Eric Garcia, very off match for Eric Garcia today. Wojciech Szczesny, had several bad passes, but after all, Szczesny's not really known for being, a good passer or someone that's good with the ball at his feet. Jules Koundé had a few misses here and there too. So there was a lot of ball loss, unnecessary ball loss that shouldn't have been happening to begin with, because a lot of these passes that Barcelona were missing or that were losing the ball were not like situations where they were forced to lose the ball because someone was pressing them. This was just bad ball control, bad passing, bad accuracy. So as a result, Barcelona were losing the ball a lot, and well, we saw a really bad first half for Barcelona, but nonetheless, Fermin Lopez was able to score 2 goals for Barcelona. The first one, great pass to Lamine Yamal, who does an incredible cut against the Olympiacos defender. The goalkeeper knocks the ball out of Lamine Yamal's feet, and then it lands to Fermin Lopez, who buries it. Second goal, Fermin Lopez, brilliant goal. I mean, the pass from Dro, in a way, Fermin Lopez just cuts into the box, dribbles past 2-3 defenders, and just buries it. I mean, Fermin Lopez today was absolutely magical. And then we go to halftime. Again, very disappointing with Barcelona's first half. Second half, immediately Olympiacos start the match with a bang. That goal that was ruled offside, I don't know what the hell Eric Garcia and Pau Cubarsí were doing. It's like the ball lands to the Olympiacos defender. The two of them are like looking at each other. They're asleep. The guy puts in a cross. The Olympiacos attacker heads it in between Eric Garcia and Pau Cubarsí. I don't know what the hell they were doing. Thankfully, it got ruled offside, because otherwise this would have been an incredibly embarrassing moment for the two. And then, of course, it turns out it was a penalty kick all along by Eric Garcia, who very stupid, very foolish penalty kick. I mean, what was that about? Like lifting your arms like that? It's not like he was even like jumping that high where you can say, oh, well, he was using his arms to propel himself. Very inevitable penalty kick, which of course Olympiacos forward buries it, and then comes the red card. And I did not like that, because it was a second yellow. There shouldn't have been a yellow. That was a very soft foul on Marc Asado, who sells it. And of course, the referee buys it. And I don't like that one bit. I criticize Vinicius Jr. for doing this all the time. I mean, Vinicius Jr., if you breathe on him, the guy falls like a sniper took him out, or like someone chopped his legs with an axe. And I always criticize that. And today, Marc Asado does the same thing. So if I criticize one player, I have to criticize Marc Asado as well, because that was not cool. This is not how you win matches. We do not do this. Leave that bullshit to Real Madrid players. They're special. They are very good at it. I'm pretty sure they have to go through a course when you sign for Real Madrid on how to act and how to flop and how to dive, because they all do it. Leave that shit to them. Please don't bring that shit to Barcelona. Please, Marc Asado, don't do that again, because that was not cool. You know, we complain about referees making mistakes, but this is also not okay, because you are inducing the referee. You're trying to fool the referee. You're trying to, force the referee to make a mistake. And that's not how it should be, right? If we want the referees not to make mistakes, we should want them not to make mistakes all the time. Not just like, oh, don't do mistakes against me, but it's okay if you do it against other people. No. You either want clean refereeing, where referees don't make mistakes in favor or against anyone, or you don't care. So if they do mistake that doesn't favor you, then you can't complain, right? So not cool by Marc Asado, selling it, acting like the guy cut his face off. Referee buys it, shows a second yellow to the Olympiacos attacker, becomes a red, and then, of course, with Barcelona having one man extra, Barcelona pretty much just ran a train on Olympiacos, and then it ended up being 6-1. Now, I do have to say, despite the yellow card mistake by the referee, he also made a mistake against us. There was a second penalty that should have been called in favor of Barcelona on Marcus Rashford. I think the referee figured, it's 6-1. I'm not even going to bother. But I'm sorry. If it's a penalty, it's a penalty. It doesn't matter if we're winning 6-1 or if we're winning 20-1. He should have called it. So the referee, a little bit sloppy today again. Bad mistake against Olympiacos with that second yellow. And then bad mistake against us not calling that second penalty against Marcus Rashford. So overall, again, not too happy with Barcelona's first half. Very sloppy as far as the passing, losing the ball unnecessarily, which caused us more problems than it should have. And this is something we have to fix before a Clásico match, because you give away balls like that against Real Madrid, and Mbappe is not going to miss. Right? Mbappe is going to convert those misses into goals. So this cannot repeat itself again. And this needs to be fixed. Now, hopefully this victory, this 6-1, this big thrashing victory will help the players' spirits, and maybe they'll make less mistakes. But this first half cannot be repeated against Real Madrid. It cannot. We cannot be giving away balls like that in such critical areas when you're playing against someone like Mbappe, because he will capitalize on that, and he will turn those bad passes into goals. So not happy with the first half. Again, second half, it was an absolute goal fest. Barcelona did whatever they wanted, which again, overall, I don't know how to feel about this match. I don't know if this result really is reflective of how Barcelona played, or is it just a direct result of the bad call by the referee, giving the Olympiacos player a second yellow, which shouldn't have been a second yellow. Now, let's talk about players because there's a lot to discuss today. Jules Koundé, a little bit better than previous matches, but I don't know if that was because he is improving or this is because Olympiacos, they're just, they're not that great of a team. But I saw him a little bit soft today. Again, better than before, but I'm still not being convinced by Jules Koundé. I think Jules Koundé needs to be benched. I think that's pretty much my conclusion here. He needs to be benched because I just don't see him. He's in such a bad form, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if he just feels like, that's it. I won 3 trophies last season, so I'm like, I'm not hungry anymore. I don't know what it is. Pau Cubarsí and Eric Garcia, again, Eric Garcia, really, really bad match. Pau Cubarsí was a little bit off on the ball during the first half, but after that, I thought he was very solid defensively. He stopped a lot of attacks single-handedly because Eric Garcia, again, was having a sloppy match. Alejandro Balde, in the attack, I thought he contributed a lot, but in defensively speaking, not his best match. But again, it's very difficult to judge Alejandro Balde and his defensive abilities because he just plays so high up. He's pretty much a winger that has to defend. I can't really rate him that badly on his defensive performance today, but I think offensively speaking, I think he did really well, contributed a lot to the team. Pedri, I don't even have words to describe Pedri anymore. I mean, every match from him is just absolutely phenomenal. He's always doing the whole job of organizing the team, of organizing the attack, of distributing the ball, of starting plays. I mean, Pedri is the heart and soul of this team. I mean, Pedri is the brains. I always say this. Lamine Yamal is the most important player of the team. The most skilled player of the team, but Pedri is the most important player by far. I mean, we can afford to lose Lamine Yamal to injury or exhaustion, but I don't know what we're going to do if, God forbid, we lose Pedri. Marc Casado, I think he had a good match. Defensively speaking, he's obviously more of a defensive midfielder, but Marc Casado, really good match today, very solid defensively, intercepting a lot of the Olympiacos passes, helping with the coverage because, again, Eric Garcia was just not having a good class, a good game, I'm sorry. Lamine Yamal, a little bit of a not a great match. I mean, first half, I think he was having a good performance. He did have that assist. It counted as an assist. I don't know how it's an assist, honestly. The goalkeeper knocks the ball out of his feet and then lands to Fermin Lopez. I think Lamine Yamal is still not all there. Dro, not a great match, but not a bad one either. I liked this match by Dro better than the last one where he started. I think he's starting to slowly gain more, adapt more, and gain more confidence. I think last match when he started in La Liga, he looked very nervous. He looked like not confident at all. He looked like he didn't want the ball. Like whenever the ball would land to him, it's kind of like he would try to get rid of it as fast as possible. Like, oh shit, I don't want this. I don't want the responsibility. Today, very, very confident today. He looked like he wanted the ball again. He didn't participate a lot, so it's hard to say that he had a great match, but he didn't have a bad match either. Definitely an improvement from his last match in La Liga. And then, of course, we have to talk about Fermin Lopez because he's an absolute star. Absolute star. Tonight was a magical night for Fermin Lopez, 10 out of 10. And this just goes to prove what I used to say all the time, and I used to get so much shit for. There was absolutely no need to sign Dani Olmo. 60 million euros down the drain, plus 100 million euros in sold seats to register Olmo down the drain, because Fermin Lopez is way more than capable of fulfilling that position. People thought I was crazy. Well, what are you talking about? Fermin Lopez, he sucks. Dani Olmo's better. And that was it. Dani Olmo, sure, skill-wise, more talented. But Fermin Lopez performs 10 times better. Because A, Dani Olmo, he's either half that season is injured, and when he's not injured, he's very inconsistent. Fermin Lopez, always consistent, and today he was absolutely magical. A hat trick, and not just that, but even during the first half, when Barcelona were not playing that great, Fermin Lopez was everywhere. He was on the right, on the left, up top, in the back. I mean, Fermin Lopez was doing everything. He was that electric charge that Barcelona's attack needed, because Barcelona's attack have been looking so sluggish in the last few matches, and now with Fermin Lopez on the field, it was like he was the battery that charged Barcelona's attack. Fermin Lopez was absolutely magical today, and hopefully he can continue that into El Clasico match. And then Marcus Rashford, 2 magnificent goals during the second half. Effortless goals. The guy wasn't even trying. I mean, effortless goals. Hopefully these 2 goals will help him to continue, growing and adapting at Barcelona, and hopefully we can see his best form, because I don't think he's unlocked it yet. I think there's a lot more to see from Marcus Rashford, but his 2 goals were absolutely brilliant. And then, of course, I have to mention Rooney Bardaghji, because it took him 5 seconds to get on the field. He does that Ronaldinho move against a defender, puts an assist to Fermin Lopez. And Rooney, man, the more minutes he gets, the better he gets. And I think we need to give him more and more minutes, because Rooney looks incredibly promising. So that's all I have to say about the match. Again, difficult match to judge, because during first half Barcelona were not good. So I don't know, again, if this result is a little bit deceiving. I don't know if this result was just because Barcelona had an extra man, or if Barcelona would have still gotten this result regardless. I don't know. But of course, I'm happy with the victory. I'm happy with the 3 points. And hopefully this will help the players, lift their spirits and help them, because we do have the El Clasico match this upcoming weekend. All right, let's do the comment section, because that's all I have to say. Let me see what you guys thought about the match. Armando said, Fermin is undoubtedly one of our best players. Absolutely. Very, very, very underrated player. And I think we're seeing it, right? Java the Hut says, I think Dani Olmo is officially done with the team with Fermin and Dro and Ebriama Tunkara coming up soon. There's no space for him. I mean, there was never space for him. We never needed him. I mean, we also had Pablo Torre, remember? Pablo Torre had to leave because we brought in Dani Olmo. There was absolutely no need to spend all that money on Dani Olmo, especially because we knew that this guy was made of glass and that he gets injured every other day. West Spring says, who would be your picks for the left wing position if Barca was financially stable? Mine is Esteban from Chelsea. Just move him over. Or Nusa. I think I like Nusa a little bit more than Esteban. But we also haven't seen much from Esteban yet. So, but as it stands, I think I would prefer Nusa over Esteban. Mike Valencia says, Danny, your time is up. It's the Fermin show now. Yeah, Danny was probably sitting there in the stands like, fuck. What is this guy doing? Please stop. Zach Urban says, I like Rashford too. His talent and physical strength are scary. Hope he takes his career seriously from now on and continues his hard work. I think today's 2 goals will definitely help him do that. Continue building on it, because we're slowly see every match that Rashford has been better than the one before. So he's like, you could tell he's adapting, he's improving, he's growing at Barca. The only thing is he needs to unlock his full talent, because I know we can see better. Let's see. Faye says, Ferminator is crazy, but love to see it looking like Olmo he spot. Costa says, you see, I told you Fermin as a left wing would crush him on the left, Yamal on the right, and Rashi as a center is a great attack. Fermin was technically on the left, but he wasn't really playing on the left. Fermin was more like a false left winger today. We talk a lot about the false 9. Today, Fermin was more of an attacking mid. Was not so much a left winger. I could call him a false left winger. James says, Lamine was walking an awful lot in the first half. He needs to be less nonchalant coming back on the side. 100% agree. Again, I'm not too happy with Lamine's match. He had a few good plays during the first half where he was taking on defenders. But yeah, a little bit of a lazy match for him, especially when it came to the pressing. Danny says it wasn't a red card. It was a yellow card, which is fair. It just sucks that it was the second yellow. No, I know that. I know it's 2 yellows that led to a red, but I don't think it should have been a second yellow. I think Casado sold it well, pretending like he just got shot in the face, and the referee bought it. Zach Urban says, Mo, is the issue fatigue or lack of motivation? Both are concerning either way. Well, today it wasn't an intensity problem. Today it was just a problem of accuracy and needless loss of ball. The team was not sharp at all. And that's what Flick needs to figure out. Why was the team not sharp and how we can improve that? Because we cannot have that kind of ball loss against Real Madrid. And Valeriano says, Lamine needs to step up against Real Madrid along with Koundé. 100% agree with you. The Jeff says the ref was horrible in that game and we were really poor. Definitely during the first half we were poor. And yes, the ref, meh. Brianna says, all this Olmo praise from Mo just for Fermin to show you class. Is it opposites day? I have literally been praising Fermin Lopez's last season and talking about how Olmo, there was no need for Olmo. Can you guys help me out with this one? Because I've caught so much flack for criticizing Olmo and supporting Fermin, and this guy says that I've been doing the opposite. Is it my accent? Anyways, Herbert says, Fermin and Rashford. Yeah, absolutely. And to think Barcelona were actually trying to force Fermin out because they wanted to keep Olmo, because of course they spent 60 million on him. They sold 100 million worth of seats to register him. They had to keep him, right? And thank God Fermin said, absolutely not, I'm staying. And thank God Hansi Flick said, nope, he's staying. Because can you imagine? We would be pulling our hair if Fermin had left. Herbert says, Juan Garcia will be back after Clásico. I think, hope so. I hope so too. We really need him back. I miss him. I miss him, man, because Tech, he's just not up to the part. I think Tech already retired, mentally speaking. Because he's definitely not the same Tech from last season. Young Braveheart says, Rashford need more time for chemistry to click. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, Brianna says, I'm joking before people start to, okay. I was like, wait, what? I was like, hold on a second. I was like, wait. Suleiman says, I'm still not convinced about our ability to win games. We are yet to make a statement this season. I hope we get our asses together soon. And how do you get your ass together? Do you clench your butt cheeks? But yes, I agree with you. Today's match, I was not convinced the first half. Second half, obviously, we did whatever we wanted. But again, I don't know if that was because of the red card or that was because we would have eventually done it. I don't know. It's a very deceiving match. Very deceiving match. Again, let's hope the 6-1, it will be just like a way for the team to like get motivated for a Clásico, because otherwise, if we repeat that first half against Real Madrid, it's over. George says, I like what Flick said. Florian, a 150 million player, then Fermin is 300 million. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I mean, Fermin is so underrated. And again, he might not be the most talented player on the squad. It's like I said, I truly believe Olmo's more talented than him. But what he lacks in talent, he more than makes up for in his intensity, in his, his desire to just, in his fighting spirit. Let's put it down. It's kind of like Coutinho, right? Coutinho is not the most talented player. Like, there's a million players more talented than Coutinho. But what makes him Coutinho is the fact that, what he lacks in talent, he makes up for it in grit and fight and intensity. And that's exactly Fermin is. Even though I do think Fermin maybe, when it comes to that position, maybe he's a little bit more talented than Rafinha. I know, but Fermin, man, very underrated player. And that's what happens, right? That's what happens when you have academy players. They feel differently about the club, right? Because it's literally their home. They grew up in the academy. Like, they live there, they sleep there, they eat there, they go to school there. They don't just train there. It truly is their home. So for them, wearing that shirt and those colors and that crest, it means a lot more than it could ever mean to any player you sign. Now, I'm not saying that you can't sign a player and he's going to love Barcelona. You can. But, of course, the love that an academy player feels for his club is just a different kind of love. And you see it. You see it in players like Gabi. You see it in players like Fermin. When Casado, when they go out there, I mean, they leave it all on the field, right? And that's why I say, like, a lot of times when I talk about Frankie, I'm like, yeah, I think Frankie's much more talented than Casado. But Frankie's never going to give you the fight or the grit that Casado does. Casado leaves it all on the field. Frankie, he tries, but is he going to kill himself? No, he's not. He's not. Let me see. Dorian says, just imagine Coutinho coming back to the squad. Yeah. Coutinho, bro. We need you, man. Please come back. Because this is what our squad was lacking. Those players that leave it all on the field, right? Because when you have a player like that, it's not just the player himself who's playing with intensity, which helps, But it also becomes contagious because the players around them, then you start feeling guilty because you're like, man, this guy is like running his ass off and I'm over here chilling. So I need to step it up. Like, so now it's not just the player himself, it's everyone around them. They're like, oh yeah, let's do it too. And we saw it, right? We saw it even against Girona. The moment Fermin and Bardagji came on, all of a sudden you saw like our attack get a little bit more energy. And today Fermin was that. And then you bring in Coutinho. Now you got not only two players with play lots of intensity, but now you got two players who can lead by example and make others around them feel bad. Like, oh, fuck, these guys are killing themselves. What am I doing? But apparently it doesn't work on Kunde because that motherfucker just jogs regardless of what's going on. Richard says, Mo, I owe you an apology, bro. You were right about Olmo being an absolute waste of money. I mean, I wish I was wrong. I'd much rather been wrong about Olmo, and maybe he still has time to prove me wrong because being right means that, yeah, we wasted money, and we don't have money, and we can't be wasting money. Plus, you know, at the end of the day, he's a Barca player, and I want all Barca players to do great. So, I mean, am I happy about being right about Olmo? Absolutely not. I would have much rather been wrong about him because that would have meant that our money was well spent, and that would have meant that we had another player who's doing absolutely fabulous. But unfortunately, that's not the case. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe Dani Olmo today, sitting in the stands, sees Fermin Lopez putting out this kind of performance and says, you know what? I need to step my game up, and maybe he does step his game up, and then we can see, you know, two Fermin Lopez's, Fermin and Dani Olmo, right? Because we need that. We need every player to be putting out magical nights, not just Fermin. But Yano says, if Rashford can hold down the 9 position going forward, I would love Barca to go for Keenan, Yilmaz, or Nusa. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know if we can afford them, but we can try it, right? If Keenan doesn't renew, there's a chance. But if he does renew with Juventus, then different story, right? We'll see. We'll see. Well, I mean, until next summer, there's a lot of time. A lot of things can happen. We'll see. We'll see what we can come up with. James, he says, what happened to his Pedro fitness routine? Oh, Pedri. Olmo was going to get to combat that. I don't know. Maybe, you know, everybody's different, and maybe it's going to take him more time to respond to it. If you guys don't know what James is talking about, you know, Pedri, obviously after that horrible season that he had with Koeman, where he played him 90 minutes of every single match, and then he went with Spain and played every single minute, and then after that he was just injured all the time because he was just exhausted, burnt out. Barcelona did DNA. They took a sample of his muscle tissue, sent it to a lab in the US. They did a full genetics breakdown of Fermin Lopez's anatomy, and then based on that, they designed a specific fitness, nutrition, hydration, sleeping plan, everything. And this is why we've seen Pedri stay healthy, right? Jamesy is talking about how Olmo, the Barcelona decided to do the same thing with Olmo, but, you know, it doesn't seem like it has paid off yet because Olmo is injured every other Tuesday. So maybe it takes time. Again, I really hope that Olmo can stay healthy, start putting out good performances, because we need every one of our players doing that. Not just Fermin, but also Olmo. Because then if you have two of them doing these kind of performances, then freaking amazing. You can rotate them and still do greatly, right? But man, I gotta say, bro, I'm really excited about Rooney. I think the more minutes he's gonna get, the better he's gonna get. I know that's not what you're talking about, but I just want to mention him because Rooney Bardakji. So the man says, if we had money to spend, I would have suggested that we get Dumfries during the transfer window. By now, Kunde would be wearing my winter jacket on the bench. I don't know if Dumfries was the right call. Maybe someone younger. But yeah, man, Kunde, bro. What are you doing, Kunde? And Kunde last season, I defended him a lot because to me, he was one of the best right backs. I don't know if I could say that this season. I mean, I can't. Nah, I don't know if I can. I can't say that because this season is just, I don't know what it is. Again, I don't know if he really is not hungry anymore. He feels like he won 3 trophies, so that's it. I don't know, but he needs to step it up. Otherwise, we're in trouble. Sanjok says, oh, first of all, thank you for your donation, my friend. But Sanjok says, one of the rare matches where the major decisions went for us. For me, Cubarsi and Balde were amazing too. I hope Cubarsi is learning from his mistakes. Well, we did have one against us too, right? And that second penalty, even though it wouldn't have made it much difference. It was already 6-1. Okay, maybe we would have ended 7-1, I guess. Yeah, every goal counts when it comes towards the end. But we did have that call against us. But yeah, no, that red card was very unfair. I mean, that second yellow should not have been a yellow. I'm very mad at Casado that he did that. That's some Vinicius bullshit. And we should never ever pull that at Barca. Leave that to the likes of Madridistas. We should not be stooping down to their level. If they want to win like that, let them win like that. We win with the ball at our feet, not with the whistle in the referee's mouth. Sounds kind of sexual. I'll take that back. Anyways, thank you, my friend, for your donation. And with that, let's end it. 30 minutes, I think that's fair enough, right, to talk about a match. Let me know your thoughts about the match. Drop it in the comment. And yeah, El Clásico on Saturday. No, Sunday. Clásico on Sunday. And of course, we'll do the watch along for a Clásico. But thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment. I will be doing a news video in maybe in an hour. I'm really tired, so I think in an hour. And then I'm going to go to sleep. I got to wake up super early tomorrow. But thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the news video. And as always, Bis Barça.